Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Got an interesting story here about a class action lawsuit where it looks like there might be some substantial money given to the class members, but also it looks like a lot of the class members didn't choose to participate. But the amount of money in the story actually makes you wonder what's going on here. A federal judge grants a settlement in a lawsuit involving a company that sold the turf for playing surfaces at, like, say, high school football games. Okay? And this is from NJ.com. Stephanie Loader wrote this. A federal judge has given final settlement approval to a proposed class action multi-district lawsuit by plaintiffs in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and California who claimed they were sold synthetic field turf that was defective by a company called Field Turf USA. A U.S. district judge last week granted the final approval to the proposed nationwide class settlement, which includes plaintiffs from a variety of places in New Jersey, as well as the other states. The total settlement value for more than 1,200 class members nationwide exceeds $50 million. Now, that's in cash and credits. You had a choice. Do you take the cash? Do you take the credits? Do you want what's behind door number one or door number two? So the settlement allows plaintiffs to collect cash from the class action, or they can claim credits to have the company install new artificial turf. So you can either get new turf or $7,500 in cash, which would allow you to either repair it or just say, well, we get a discount on it. But if you wanted them to give you the new turf, you got a credit of up to $50,000, okay? So the judge also granted the attorneys their fees and costs, and the counsel for the company said, as of the close of the claims process, the claims administrator had received a very limited number of claims, only a portion of which were found to be valid. We believe this aligns with our stance in the case, as evidenced by the satisfaction of the vast majority of customers of the approximately 1,300 fields across the United States. So they'd installed 1,300 fields. They got complaints that some of them were defective. Class action lawsuit was filed, and according to the allegations in the class that got settled, there were possibly 1,200 customers complaining about the bad turf. Those customers would have been high schools or school districts, okay? The $50 million figure cited in pleadings represents the possible payout if each of the roughly 1,300 eligible field owners submitted claims and were approved. But only 31 claims were submitted by the deadline and approved, meaning less than 1 million may be paid out. So there was 50 million on the table, and it makes you wonder why claims weren't filed. Were the claims not filed because that many fields weren't defective, or were people not paying attention at the school districts that had the bad fields? So that represents less than 2% of the potential $50 million, and most of the settlements are being taken as credits, meaning that the companies are saying, the districts are saying, just, fix the field, fix it for us. So, according to court records, one school district purchased 6 field turf fields between 06 and 10 for more than $2 million. The litigation followed a 6-month investigation by NJ Advanced Media that found that field turf made millions selling high-end turf to taxpayers in towns and schools across the state and nationwide. And at the time, they knew that the turf wouldn't last. That was the allegation. The product allegedly lasted only half as long as promised. It deteriorated rapidly and became an unsafe playing field, according to the allegations. So the defendant decided to make its own fiber and stopped selling this particular kind of turf after learning in 2009 that the fiber was prone to premature fiber wear in certain high UV conditions and depending on the color of the turf. Now, you might imagine that many of these turf fields are outdoors, which would expose them to sunlight, which may contain UV. From 2005 until the Duraspine product was discontinued in 2012, records show that the company sold 1,400 of the fields throughout the U.S., including 164 in New Jersey. Meanwhile, the officials in one New Jersey town reached out to Field Turf about the premature wear in April of 2013 and reported a warranty claim. The company inspected the fields according to records, but more than a year passed before the schools received any reliable information on the warranty claims. After the inspection, the company continued to stall according to the lawsuit. So the officials sent 3 additional letters to the company in 2015 and 2016, but the warranty claims did not move forward. Now, the company responded more than 3 years after being first notified about the problems, but they offered proposals that would require the borough to pay thousands in repair and replacement costs. The mayor said in a previous press release that the company appears to have known that its artificial turf was defective, but sold it to us and other plaintiffs anyway. And so there's a whole bunch more to this. The numbers are staggering, but the real important thing here, and what I found interesting, is that the company said, fine, we'll settle the claims, and we'll pay up to $50 million to do so. All you got to do is file a claim. The claim is good. Boom, you get your money. And you have a choice. You can take cash, or you can ask us to repair the field. And apparently these things are way out of warranty, so that's actually a substantial offer. But some places might go, hey, let's just take the cash. And I don't know if you had one of these fields, if you could repair it for $7,500. But I find it very odd that many people were potentially in the class and so few responded. Because I'm sure you know this, but in case you don't, I'll reiterate that if there's a class action that settles a lawsuit in which you had a claim and you choose not to participate, unless you actively opted out of the class action and somehow reserved your rights, there's a good chance you lost your claim. And that's one of the main complaints that people have about class action lawsuits, is I've known people who had a problem, did some investigation, go, wait, there's a class action on this exact problem a year ago, and I never heard about it. And so it depends on the product and the situation. But here, when somebody buys a turf field for a high school football stadium, it's not too hard to find those people out, because what you do in the litigation of the lawsuit is you say, give us the name and address of every single person you sold one of these fields to in the last so many years. And then you contact them and go, hey, just to let you know, there's a lawsuit involving your turf field. They might not care, they might care. But I mean, there have been other ones where they say, oh, it turns out that some company was selling stuff 20 years ago and it was a problem. Anybody who bought this thing 20 years ago can file a claim. How do you find the people who bought those things 20 years ago if they didn't have to give their name and address and phone number to the person they're buying it from? And I've seen class actions before where, it's like, there's people out there who may never know. But in this situation, with these facts, I would be inclined to believe that the people who were entitled to participate would have known. They should have known. And so if that many people didn't participate, it means that they didn't have trouble with their turf, which may mean that this company's right when they go, hey, look, our turf is generally good. Couple people out there, 2% of them, but it's a strange one. Because like I said, most class actions I see say that you get anywhere from $1.37 to $2.49, and all you got to do is fill out 15 forms, log onto this website by midnight tonight, and we'll get you the money in 9 to 15 months. And many people go, okay, it's not worth my time and trouble. But here, $50,000 in credits towards the field, or $7,500 in cash. And apparently not many people took it. And so relatively speaking, that's the interesting part. So there could have been 1,200 of these cases out there, but only 31 claims were submitted on time. Weird story. But federal judge grants settlement approval in that lawsuit that included New Jersey schools involving their artificial turf fields. And Stephanie Loader wrote that for NJ.com. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. All I ask is the chance to prove that money can't make me happy.